Hey guys, Nick with Magic Stockhouse here, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile for my mill deck, and I'm sorry I still sound pretty messed up because I'm still pretty sick. Going to the doctor today, hopefully figure something out, but so I got my mill deck here. I'm going to go ahead and point the camera down, and then I'll be showing you guys all the cards. And for those of you who don't really know what mill is, not that there's many of you who don't, but for those of you who don't, I'll be giving a little bit of an in-depth analysis on what mill does, for sure. Alright. Excuse my shirt. I'd have a background, but it's a laptop camera, so I can't really do too much with it. Okay. So, it just so happens that this card is one of the more powerful ones in the deck, so I'm just going to stick it into the middle somewhere. I don't know why, but we're going to go ahead and start. We've got this card called Tomb Scour. For those of you who don't really know what mill is, it's this kind of ability where you pretty much take cards from your opponent's graveyards and set them right on top of their graveyard. Or your opponent's library to their graveyard. So, pretty cool. Not really meant for multiplayer EDH. It's really hard to use in EDH. Two-headed giant, not really that great either. But if we go past an island or a swamp, I'm just gonna go, throw it to the side, and I'll tell you how many I have of both lands after the video. We've got another Tomb Scour. I should do these in order, but I'm not going to, just for the hell of it. Then we've got a Sign in Blood. This is a multi-purpose card for this deck because I can either choose to draw my own card and lose 2 life, or drawing is pretty much another form of mill, so that's pretty helpful in that deck too. Then we have Crosstown Courier. His ability is whenever he deals combat damage to a player, he puts the top 2 cards, or target player puts the top card. Hold on, I'm sorry, I can't. Deals combat damage to a player, that player puts that many cards from the top of his or her library in his or her graveyard. So I'm horribly misinformed with that card. Then we have Psychic Strike, which counters a spell and puts the top 2 cards of their graveyard, or hand into their graveyard. Oh my gosh, library into their graveyard, which is pretty helpful when it comes to it. If you guys would like to make a mill deck, I would suggest getting a lot of Dimir cards, because Dimir is just blue, black, and awesome. This guy is actually from a recent Theros, or from the Theros, the second. Well, it's soon to be the 3rd set, but it came out right before, well, not right before, but before Born of the Gods, and one of my more favorite sets, as I mentioned in my first video. I really like Theros. And by the way, I may be doing this video in 2 parts, because I don't know how long this is going to be. When he enters the battlefield, you mill your opponent for 4. So, pretty cool. Islands. Essence Scatter is a counter-target creature spell. If I had more Psychic Strikes, I would replace the Essence Scatter for Psychic Strike, but I don't have enough to replace them, so got some more islands. Really good card for a 4-drop common right here. Pretty much you target a player, they put the top X cards of their library into the graveyard, where X is the amount of lands you control. So, pretty awesome card right there. Pretty helpful too. Counter target spell, straight up. You can use it to counter creatures. Sorry, I can't really see the camera too great. Counter creatures, anything. Creatures, instants, sorceries, enchantments. So, pretty helpful for some situations. This is just used for drawing a card, again, from my favorite set right here, Theros. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards, you lose 2 life. The lose 2 life I can deal with as long as it allows me to get a couple of cards that I need into my hand. Then we've got Destroy the Evidence. which is pretty much you destroy your opponent's land. They mill until they reveal a land, and they put even that land in their graveyard. Pretty cool. Whenever Shriekgeist deals combat damage to a player, that player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. It's a 1/1, but it's got flying, and it's only a 2-drop, which is why it's in here. Easy drop, easy use. Another Essence Scatter, counter target creature spell. Another Tomb Scour, mill the top 5 cards of someone's library. Another card used to counter, negate target counter target non-creature spell. Oh, that's an island. And then we have a more useful card. The dogs might start barking here in a second, just to let you know my mom or my sister and father are here. But then we have this. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in opponent's graveyards. And every time I cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards until they reveal a land and put them all in their graveyard. So, way overpowered, but I love it. Oh, that's a land. Mind Sculpt, mill 7 cards from target player's library. Try to speed it up a little bit. I don't really want to make a 2-part video. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard with a flashback cost, which means when it's in your graveyard, you can pay that cost and exile it when you're done using it to pretty much do it all over. Pretty cool. Mirfolk Memorist has a blue tap. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. But this, again, is the reason that I put it in here. It's a 2-drop for a 1/2, so it's pretty good. Got another one of those. Same exact card. And there's the dogs being stupid. But I love them. No matter how dumb they are sometimes. Another draw card. Again, draw is another form of mill. You can either draw or mill your opponents, or you can draw yourself for only 2 life. Not bad. Another one, when it enters the battlefield, you put someone mills 4, and it's a 4-drop for a 2/4. So if it didn't have that ability, it'd probably be kind of a really expensive card for no reason. But this card is pretty helpful. It's from the Born of the Gods set. It's enchanted creature has tap 1 colorless, 1 blue, tap that creature. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So pretty useful. And there's my neighbors being stupid now. Sorry, they hog their horn all the time for no apparent reason. And this is just a mana cost. Tap, add 1 blue or 1 black to your mana pool. If you tap blue and black, you can have it become a 2/2 blue and black horror creature until end of turn. But oh, and it's unblockable. I forgot about that. This card is really good in mill decks because if you have if your opponent has 10 or more cards in his or her graveyard, you get a +4/+4, so it becomes a 1-drop 5/5 flyer. Pretty great card right there. Thassa's Bounty, you draw 3 cards, opponent mills 3, so that's a really helpful card. For a common, too, the only problem is right there. You don't really want a card that's a 6-drop that only allows you to do that, but I still like the card, so. And this is just because I like the card's ability. Creatures with flying your opponent control get -1/-1. He's a 3/3, so that makes most creatures unblockable or unattackable because they either die or you can block them really easily. Then we have this guy. He's pretty good. I'm gonna pretty much lengthen down his abilities because they're really long. Well, not really long, but you draw a card, your opponent mills 1 for his +1 ability, which gives them a +1 loyalty counter, if you guys don't know what planeswalkers are. 0 ability for no loyalty counters or no minus loyalty counters. Target player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And then if you -7, here's where I said draw is another form of mill. Any number of target players each draw 20 cards. pretty awesome. I like that card. This creature, you can pair it with another creature when it enters the battlefield, or at any time, I believe, to give them both hexproof. And then got another card that's just like that one. So another land. Then we've got another one of those -1 flyer flyers, or -1/-1 flyers. My bad. Got another one of those. When it enters the battlefield for 4 mana, you get to mill 4 from one opponent. 2 more lands. Another one of those artifacts that just taps for mana. The 4th one of this guy, by now I'm pretty sure you guys know what he does, so I'm not really going to explain it. Another land. This card is pretty much for bounce. It is return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, so that can be pretty helpful when your opponent brings out a really big creature. You can frustrate them. That rustling in the background is my sister looking for something, just to let you guys know.
Sorry.
That's alright. Archaeomancer, when he enters the battlefield, you can take any of the instants or sorceries that you have in your deck from your graveyard. They can't be in your deck, but you can take them from your graveyard and add them back to your hand, so it's pretty much a second flashback, only they don't get exiled when you're done with them. This guy is more of a wall than anything, but if your opponent does manage to kill him, which I don't see why they'd want to, target player puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, so he's pretty helpful too. Then we have Inspiration. Target player draws 2 cards. That can be used for a number of different purposes. Again, you can mill your opponents or you can draw your own cards. I prefer Thassa's Bounty though, because you get to draw your own card and mill your opponent. So then we've got another mill 7 for 2 drops. So I thought this is one of my favorite M13 cards because it's an amazing mill card for really cheap. Then we have this guy. If he's in your opening hand, you can reveal him, and every player puts 7 cards from their graveyard or from their library into their graveyard. And then when he enters the battlefield, you can cast an instant or sorcery from their graveyard without paying its mana cost. Got a couple more islands. Dimir Cluestone, again, just another mana source. Or you can tap 2, tap him, sacrifice Dimir Cluestone, draw a card. Or you don't, yep, you do have to tap him. Okay. Now, hopefully I can finish this in 2 more minutes. Then we have another counter target non-creature spell, which means you cannot use it on creatures when they come out. Got another flashback card that mills the top 3 cards of your opponent's library, obviously, with the flashback. Only, like I said, the downside with it is it does exile the card after, but if it didn't, then it would be pretty overpowered. Archaeomancer returns instant or sorcery card. I totally said Archaeomancer. Returns instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Again, mills equal to the number of lands you control for 4 mana, so that's pretty good. Sorry guys, I'm trying to speed it up a little bit. Destroy target creature, or destroy target land, and then it mills until your opponent reveals land. That land's put into the graveyard as well. Mills for 5 for a 1-drop, so pretty good. And another Mind-Eye Drake. Again, if they can manage to kill it, you get to mill 5, but it's pretty hard to kill it. And then, yes, I do, okay. I have 12 swamps and 12 lands, or 12 islands equaling 24 lands. But that is my mill deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more. And eventually I will be doing pack openings, probably when Journey into Nyx comes out, because I'm going to be getting a few Journey into Nyx packs, and I'll probably do a video for pack openings. So, see you guys later.